Want to hear about some giants in Utah?
Dude,
Yes.
Let's go.
Utah.
Mormon giants, baby.
Mormon giants. This story's crazy. Okay, this took place in 1955.
1955.
There was a man who went by the name Earl John Brewer, but he just really went by John.
Okay. Sound like they just gave up on the last name.
But he was told this story when he was a teenager by this man named George Keller. He was an elderly man, and Keller said that there was this cave that was in Utah, and that it basically held different artifacts from an ancient, technologically advanced civilization. And he said that there's, in fact, giants in this cave. And George Keller was told that by a local Native American whose name was Lone Eagle. The natives called this cave the Cave of the Great Spirit. And so he told John Brewer, he didn't tell him the exact location, but he said, John Brewer, like, it first happened to where John Brewer went to George Keller and he was looking for arrowheads to just collect and stuff. And George Keller's like, there's a lot of arrowheads and many more artifacts over at this place. And he said, just dig around. And he said, okay. And so he goes out and he's digging around and then finds this tiny little entrance, like to a cave. He goes down into it, and when he said it was constructed to where it's like you slide down, but then at the bottom of where you came in, there was just this hole that dropped, and he says, I don't know how far down it went, but it was basically like a booby trap kind of thing.
Yeah.
Walked around it, and then discovered just the craziest of things. He found all these ancient copper tablets that had weird inscriptions on them, and I'll show you the picture. This is some of the tablets that he found.
That's just chilling in this cave.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
It's also weird that it's copper. Like, that's not a typical thing.
yeah. And then
Some rednecks are out there like, what?
But yeah, it says that there's inscribed with numerous indecipherable writings, strange symbols and letters consisting of many lines, and then there's like a couple of like scorpions depicted on it and stuff, and like serpents and dragons and like crazy stuff. And then he left and decided to come back with his son to show his son, and so his son could like make drawings of it and stuff.
Yeah.
So they went back down, and then they found two giant, what do you call them? Basically coffins, like stone coffins. And they were able to move the lids from these coffins. And what they discovered was two giants that were buried in these coffins.
Dude.
It says there was a male and a female. So the male was around 9 feet 2 inches. And the woman was about 8 feet 10 inches.
Oh my gosh.
And it said that the male had long red hair and a long red beard.
No way.
And the woman had long blonde hair, and they were just ordained with gold and symbols. And the woman they said was wearing this like elaborate crown on her head. And these are the drawings that the son did. So that's the male.
Bro.
Oh my gosh.
That's so scary.
That's the female. See that?
Wow.
Who were they?
But people just started like, okay, John Brewer, you're full of crap. Like, tell us where this is. He's like, I won't, because a couple of years before that was the Lovelock Cave incident, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where the Smithsonian came in.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the bones disappeared.
Yeah, it's gone.
And so he's like, I don't want the Smithsonian anywhere around this. It needs to be kept secret.
Yeah.
In fact, he came out there one time. This is a story that he made a friend, and that he was able to tell this guy where the cave was because he was about to die. But he told this man, one day I was walking to the cave, and all of a sudden there was 3 men standing, very tall men, long blonde hair, and he said, they said, basically, you cannot show anyone where this cave entrance is unless they said like unless they're validated or something, and they said we want to show you our city. And so they brought John Brewer to this underground city.
Shut up.
And John Brewer said it was the most technologically advanced civilization that he's ever seen.
What are you
And
talking
he
about?
says they were able to speak telepathically as well and control things with their mind. And he said they would use these certain type of crystals that would produce electricity. And he said it was insane. And then they brought him out of the city, and he said then they just walked and it disappeared. And then the entrance to their city disappeared too. He's like, it just like went invisible. And so John Brewer's like, there's some crazy stuff that is happening in this region.
Yeah.
And people are like, yo, you're full of crap.
Yeah.
That
And-
sounds like, what's the name of that? Is it Shambhala?
yeah.
That the secret city?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, and
something like that maybe.
but if we talk about the city of the lizard people
Yeah.
and like you see on this, like on the man, the giant, you see those like lizard snake
Yeah.
things at the bottom.
Yeah.
There's something weird with that. But I think those, if I'm remembering it right, those people that brought John Brewer into their underground city said that these race of giants were their enemies at one point. And so there was like this battleground.
So what do we think of these people were? These blondes?
I don't know.
Possible angels?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.